Hello BL lovers, welcome back to BL Dramatic World. With nearly 100 BL series wrapping up this year, narrowing down the top 10 moments was no easy task. However, since many of these series didn't quite hit the mark, it made my job a little bit easier. Just a gentle reminder that this video may contain spoilers, so consider yourselves warned. If you are new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more BL related content. Whether Jack stole Joker's heart or Joker stole Jack's, one thing is certain, they both stole ours. The chemistry has always been incredible, but in this series, the acting reached a whole new level. Every moment between them felt electric, but there's one scene that stands out above the rest when Jack confessed his love for Joe. The way Joe leaned in, closing the distance between them and initiated the kiss, it was pure magic. You could feel how much he had been yearning for Jack, how deeply those emotions had been building inside him. That moment wasn't just a kiss, it was an outpouring of everything he had been holding back. It took time for them to find their way to each other, but when they did, it was nothing short of extraordinary. Through their powerful performances, Jack and Joe didn't just create a love story, they created something unforgettable, something that felt very real. Ming has undoubtedly become one of the most hated characters of 2024. While this series is undeniably toxic and not for everyone, Up and Boom brought their characters to life with such raw, powerful performances that is impossible to ignore. The funeral scene is etched into my mind. I don't think I'll ever forget it. Every emotion felt so real, so heavy, as we saw the story unfold through both Ming and Joe's perspective. Ming's guilt over Joe's death, and when Joe finally exploded in anguish, realizing his last hope of returning to his old body was gone, it hit like a punch to the chest. The confrontation was devastating. Both were drowning in pain, and it's impossible to say who suffered more. But this scene, it was heartbreaking, raw and unforgettable. This series is a rare gem, mature, gripping and packed with incredible acting that brings its mystery thriller storyline to life. Honestly, I'm so hooked that I can't help but feel sad that it only has 8 episodes. The chemistry between the doctor and the police officer is magnetic, with layers of tension and vulnerability, especially as the doctor tries to keep his dark secrets hidden. And that bad scene between Wasan and Khan, pure magic. I have rewatched it so many times I have lost count. There's something so heartfelt about Khan's playful nature, Wasan's sleepy tenderness, and Khan's silent, swelling thoughts. It all comes together beautifully. When Wasan snuggled into Khan's chest, I swear time stood still. I didn't want the moment to end. The expressions felt so raw and genuine that I caught myself holding my breath. I'm definitely hooked on JBL, so it's no surprise that a few moments from them made it to my top 10 list. This particular series stands out with such a unique storyline that almost every scene has stayed with me. But if I have to choose one, it would definitely be the bathtub scene. In this moment, Kaito finally shows his vulnerable side to Chihiro, and is so powerful. For Kaito, someone who's been unable to trust anyone because of his past trauma is a huge leap. But he takes the risk, opening up to Chihiro in a way he never has before. The weight of that scene is intense. It's not easy to watch, and it could bring anyone to tears. Kaito's burst, his pain, everything he's carried comes out in that moment. What makes it even more impactful is how Chihiro responds. After hearing Kyoto's story, he promises to protect him, and the way they joke together afterwards lightens the tension just enough. And then that hug is not just Keito shedding his clothes in front of Chihiro, he is breaking down the wall between them, the one that's kept them apart, both physically and emotionally. It's such a beautiful moment of trust and connection, and it hit me right in the heart. Sometimes even the simplest plot can leave a lasting impression when it's backed by exceptional acting and thoughtful execution. That's exactly what this series delivers. The story itself might not be groundbreaking, but what makes it unforgettable is the heartfelt, mesmerizing performance of the leads. They poured so much soul into their roles that every moment feels deeply real. My favorite scene has to be the very last one. It's hard to put into words, but every time I watch it, I feel this incredible sense of peace and fulfillment. Whenever I feel empty or weighed down, I find myself returning to that scene. There's something so beautiful and comforting in the simple, everyday routine. It's a quiet reminder that happiness can be found in the little things. It gives me hope and courage to keep going, so face life's challenge and to believe in brighter days. It's not just a scene, it's a lifeline. I've always loved watching those moments when the leads get jealous. They're such a guilty pleasure. But in this series, the way Yuto gets jealous of Miyata's presence takes the cake. It wasn't just jealousy, it was hilariously over the top, and the way Yuto talked to Miyata, pure comedy gold. Miyata's confusion at first was so relatable. You could see him genuinely trying to figure out what was going on, and then Yuto, being Yuto, just left him completely speechless. It was such a chaotic and funny interaction. Yuto might be an annoying character at times, but there's something so endearing about his honesty. No matter how ridiculous he gets, his genuineness shines through, and it's impossible to truly dislike him. The storyline might be toxic, but the way it presents the raw, genuine emotions of the leads is nothing short of remarkable. Their interaction is so real and unfiltered, capturing a kind of vulnerability that could feel deeply. One scene that stays with me is when the two were searching for a place to hide and steal a kiss. Gosh, it was such a beautiful moment. You could almost feel the nervousness radiating off the screen, this mix of excitement and fear. Trying something for the first time, falling in love without fully understanding what it even means. What makes this scene so mesmerizing is its authenticity. It doesn't feel staged or forced. It's raw, tender, and achingly real. It perfectly captures the fragile, uncertain beauty of young love, and I could not take my eyes off. Rooftop Kisses always hold a special place in Thai BLs, and this series gave us one that's nothing short of unforgettable. When two actors who are not only ridiculously handsome but also incredibly talented deliver such heartfelt performances, it's impossible to forget. This wasn't just a kiss, it was a promise. Wandi's way of assuring York that no matter what happens, he will always be there for him, standing by his side, was so moving. It wasn't just about romance, it was about connection and unspoken understanding. Even without officially being together, they're bound in a way that feels deeper than words can express. The chemistry in this scene, combined with the raw emotion in their performances, left me completely captivated. It's the kind of moment that lingers with you, one that you replay in your head long after it's over. Simply unforgettable. With this unique storyline and adorable cast, this series completely changed how I looked at teen romance. Every moment with Junior is so full of charm that I can't help but giggle non-stop. But if I had to pick a favorite, the scene under the blanket to top the list. The way Sun opens up to Junior in that moment is just so captivating. The interaction feels so natural, so heartfelt, is beautifully crafted and impossible to look away from. The cinematography deserves special praise too, capturing every subtle emotion between them in such a delicate and intimate way. As I watched, the only thought running through my head was, why are those two so unbelievably cute? Their chemistry is magical and the scene stays with you long after it ends. Truly a moment to treasure. This has to be one of the most emotionally powerful series of the year. Both leads are incredibly talented and you can feel every ounce of emotion they pour into their roles. One of the most heart-wrenching moments is when Hirokawa's father dies. In that moment of shock and guilt, Hirokawa immediately reaches out to Minase, the one person he feels he can turn to. Despite everything, despite the abuse he suffered at his father's hands, Hirokawa is overwhelmed by the pain and becomes numb. The way Minase holds him, cries for him, and even encourages Hirokawa to cry too so he can release some of that anguish is so raw and compassionate. Even in his most desperate state, Hirokawa tries to protect Minase, refusing to let him get caught up in his own turmoil. It's such a selfless, touching moment. I still wonder how these two delivered such emotionally mature scenes which definitely made me cry.